My name is Carina Gardner, and I'm what you would call a practical designer. If you're ready to create a life that you love, become an incredible force for good, and generate income while pursuing your dreams, this is the podcast for you. Welcome to Make and Design. While your words do matter, I don't think it matters as much as this other thing that we do. And let me give you an example of it. So my son likes to be on his phone a lot. When I say his phone, it's my phone. I have two phones and he gets to be on the second one to play video games once in a while. And he loves it. He loves it a lot. And if any of you have kids, he's 11 at this age, it is tough. Like, they really want to be on the phone. And one of the things I try to talk to him about is we should only be on electronics a certain amount of time. And notice my words to him, because I keep saying to him, like, hey, buddy, it's time to get off electronics. I think we need to have a break, or you only get a certain amount of time, 30 minutes or an hour on it. And he'll be like, okay. Well, his favorite thing to say to me is, Mom, you keep saying I shouldn't be on electronics. However, you're on electronics for 8 hours a day, all day long, Mom. And he's right. I mean, here I am, I'm recording a podcast and I'm on electronics. I've got my microphone, I've got my computer, plus he has seen me for years spend lots of time on my computer designing new fabric lines, designing new SVG files. So he is not wrong. I spend a lot of time on electronics. And so in this case, my words, first of all, were incorrect, right? Like, I should have been saying, buddy, you shouldn't be spending so much time on video games, right? The actual activity that he was doing. Because when I'm on electronics, I am working. I'm very often doing something new, innovative, or creative, especially when I'm designing. I'm creating new products. Many times I'm in meetings on my electronics, right? Meetings I would have had in person if we had an office together, right? So here's the interesting thing about all of this, right from the get-go, and that is this. Even though we are talking about words here, at the end of the day, the thing that he was paying attention to was my actions, especially in relation to my words. And so I think that the thing that matters more than our words is our actual actions, what we actually do, because our kids are watching us, our spouse, our partners are watching us, our parents are watching us, our friends are watching us, and the actions that we have matter more, I believe, than even the words. Now, words are important, right? Especially you hear those funny stories about little kids who say a word that mommy shouldn't have said, but probably said on a day that she was really upset, right? But what I'm talking about here is something that I'm currently seeing in my own children, and I wanted to share with you guys. So for the last 16 years, I've owned a design business, and I can track my length of design business by my middle child's age, because about 6 months after my middle child was born, I started my design business. It was in a January. So that was the other thing. It started in a January, so it's nice. I can track it by year. I know how long I've been in business for. And so when you just say, oh, I've been doing this for 16 years, I feel like that sounds like one thing, right? When you say, I had a 6-month-old when I started, and now I have a 16-year-old who has been watching me run a design business now for 16 years, I think that plays a little bit differently. I think you hear and you see there is a 16-year-old who has literally watched me run and start a design business from absolutely nothing, from opening up a Dreamweaver book, trying to write website code, right? All the way to seeing her mom build what she's built today, which is multiple companies. We have, I can't even tell you guys all the cool stuff that are coming, but I promise we'll try to keep you in the loop as cool things are coming forward and we tell you what we're doing. But she's seen me do all of these things. And my actions have been, in fact, louder than my words, because sometimes I don't say the right things. Sometimes I don't say the things I really mean. Other times I do a pretty good job, right? Like I've really encouraged our kids to have creative careers if they want them. We've been very like, you do whatever you want to do, find something you love to do, know that it's going to be a lot of work. We've tried to give them the realistic vision of what, even if you have a creative career and it's going to be something you love, there are going to be hard things in it that you're not going to like doing. But more than that, my children have seen me actually do it. They've seen me work my tail off. There were days where, no, I didn't want to sew that day. I know that sounds crazy, but yeah, I didn't want to sew that day. Or I didn't want to film something, or I didn't want to design that day, right? And I did anyway, because that was my job. That was the thing that I was doing. And in order to run a creative business, you have to be consistent. You have to build up audience if that's the way you're doing it. You have to build up online platform if that's the way you're doing it, right? And so there are all these things you have to do to build a creative business that sometimes isn't very exciting or very fun. And a lot of it is just simply consistency. So they've seen me do this. They've also seen the hard days. They've seen the good days. They've seen me be very excited. And they've also seen that it's been profitable over the years. They've seen, that it works. And so what I want to tell you is that whether you know it or not, whatever you're doing right now in your life, whether you're going after your dreams, whether you're going after your side hustle, whether you're trying to create a full-time creative career, the people around you are watching you. And even if their words to you might be like doubt, or maybe feeling like you can't do it, or not wanting you to do it, not wanting you to change, right? If you just do the actions that you need to do, then they are going to start to see you for who you really are, which, guess what? Your identity follows your actions. So if you want that, if you want that creative career, if you want that side hustle, if you want to be profitable, then you need to start creating the actions so the people around you start to really believe, because your behaviors match what you are saying. And it's a really beautiful thing, because that was never my intention. It was never my intention for my kids to see that I was going to create this creative career, that I was going to build a business doing it, and that they were going to want to model that in their own fields. Neither of my older daughters want to be designers. They want to do other things, but they know that it's possible. And they also know that's not going to be a piece of cake, but they're going to really enjoy it. And that's really powerful. I think especially as parents and as people with influence, which, by the way, it doesn't matter who you are someone with influence. Your voice matters. That we have to say words to help those around us get to where they want to go, to lift them up. And I just saw on Instagram John Krasinski talking about when he wanted to be an actor, and he told his mom, he was like, Mom, I think I want to go do this. And he went to New York for 2 years, but she said to him, which I think was very interesting, she said, I'm glad if you want to go do this, go do it, but in 2 years or 3 years, if this doesn't work out, I need you to pull yourself out of it, because I don't want to be the one to crush your dreams. I thought that was really interesting and very inspiring of his mother. Anyway, he goes on to tell the story. He's like 2 years into it. It's like September, and he calls his mom and says, I don't think it's going to work. I think maybe I should come home. And she says to him, why don't you just finish out the year? Just stay there for the rest of the year until December. And if it's still not working, why don't you come home? He was like, okay, all right. And apparently 3 weeks after that call, he got the job with The Office, which we all know and love, and has been a great role for him and really kickstart his career. So, I think we have influence. Each one of us have influence, more influence on our own children, more influence on our own family and spouses and all of that. So we should be using that influence for good. And a lot of that comes from, yes, our words, but also our actions. Because his mom, John's mom, could have said, hey, okay, yes, my action is I'm going to bring you home. But instead, her words matched her actions. And she was like, let's just wait, And sometimes the action of waiting is an okay one. And I think people don't realize that because they think action has to be like we're doing something, we're kicking, we're hitting, we're going, we're designing, And sometimes waiting is one of the best actions that we can have. Waiting and seeing what people need to do or what we need to do to get to the next step. And I hope this has inspired you today, because a lot of times I'm seeing a lot of people with words. They're saying things like, I want to do this, or I want to make money doing this, or I really want to have a creative career. But their actions are not matching. If those are the things you want, what are the actions that you should be having every single day to make those wants, desires, needs happen? Because if you're not doing those things, then you're not doing enough action to really matter. This has been awesome. I hope that you are going after your dreams, and I will see you soon.
Did you know you have access to more free design content, die cut files, and sewing patterns? Join our exclusive VIP group for free by going to designsweetcourses.com/free.